Hello and welcome back to HardReset.Info. In this video, I will show you first things to do after setup on SONY Xperia 1 Mark VII. Let's begin! So this phone is fresh after performing hard reset, everything here is new and setup just been done. If you want to know how I did the setup, you can always search for that video on our channel. Anyway, I can start with simply going into settings and changing one simple thing, and that is display, and I will increase the sleep. Since by default it's 1 minute, I will increase it to 5 minutes. Since I do like to talk a lot and I get really annoyed when my screen randomly turns off. So it's not like part of the official tutorial. The tutorial starts now. And we can begin with simply connecting to Wi-Fi. Now, connecting to Wi-Fi is something very simple and something very needed, since later we will be also checking for software updates and also connecting to Google accounts. And in order to do that, we need to have Wi-Fi connection. So, let us go into the internet and we can search for our desired network. For me, it's this one, so I will click on it. And now I will input its password. And I have inputted the password, so now I simply hit connect. And I'm connecting to the network and boom! We now have an internet access. As I said before, it's really important that you do this step first. So, after you have successfully connected to your network, and also in case you don't know the password to your network can be usually found right under the router. Like there should be some sort of sticker with the password on it. And now we can go to the other part of setting up our device, after setup, and it's to simply check for software updates. We can easily do that by scrolling all the way down into the settings, then heading into system updates, and as you can see we have the ability to know that our device already has the latest available system updates, so that's great. Now we could potentially go to apps, but as you can see these are only checking for Sony applications, not all of the applications. We could now go to the Google right here and log in into our Google account here, but we can actually kill two birds with one stone, and we can simply click our Play Store. In here we'll click sign in, and then we'll add our Google account here. So now I will input my Google account. And a fun fact, you don't have to manually type in gmail.com. This is more than enough and it will automatically give you the gmail.com extension. Now I'll input password to my Gmail. And now I simply have to click next. We can now configure who will be using the device. By default it's set to I will be using this device, and this is probably the setting that you want to click. If you want to configure family link and basically very basic child control, you can click this and then hit next, but for the purpose of this tutorial, which should be common, I will click I will be using this device. Now I have to agree to simple terms of service. Let me get rid of that. And now we can choose if you want to back up device data. Now because our space on the Google account is limited and we do have a lot of phones at our disposal, I will uncheck that. But for most of users, like you probably watching the video, you probably want to keep backup on, just in case. So now I will hit accept. And now we can go back to our Play Store and we can configure the Play Store itself. Though as you can see it kinda kicks me out of it, which is interesting. Oh, it doesn't. Here we have our basic applications that our Play Store will try to give us to. Now, if you look closely, you will see that there is actually a lot of garbage here. And there's so much garbage that probably you won't really use any of those. So we can uncheck all of these applications and then click what we are interested in. So for example, the Xiaomi Home, why would I want it on my phone? I don't. So instead, let's simply check only things that we are interested in. I will enable Google Wallet and YouTube Music. Google Drive is also pretty good. Keep is good for notes. ChatGPT is pretty common now. Voice recorder is incredibly useful, and Spotify for some music. Now we can hit install, but of course you could just skip that with the button on the left. Now we want to verify our purchases instantly. We can choose either password or biometrics. We will go into biometrics, but for now I will stay with password. And now you have to input your password to your Google account once again. After you have inputted your password, now you simply hit done. You can also enable local recommendations on Google Play. It really matters and it's just what you prefer. I will go with no thanks. And now our Google Play is successfully installed. Now of course I could talk to you that, hey, now you can go to search and you want to install all your applications, but it is pretty self-explanatory. Like if you are a Facebook user, you want to go here and search for Facebook and install it. It's no big deal. But what I can show you is going into your icon in the top right corner. Then you can go to Manage Apps and Device. You can go to Manage, and here you have all your applications that you have currently installed. We can switch from this device to Updates Available, and this way we can see all applications that have an update that is yet to be installed. So for example, we can check our YouTube here, and if we click this button, we will get it to installing the newest update. We can do the same thing for every single application that we have on our phone, but I would advise you to uncheck this device. No, okay, never mind, you don't want to uncheck this device. This is only for the case when you have more devices than one. So yeah, that's all for installing and updating your newest applications. Now we can go to something more basic like biometrics. If you paid attention, you would see that I have already set a pin lock before. I can even show you if I will go into lock screen, and you can see that there is a pin lock indeed. It's pretty basic, 1 to 6, nothing interesting, but it's pretty important to change it if you don't like it. And you can easily do that by scrolling down into the settings, going into security, going into pin lock. Now we can re-enter our current pin, and we can always check something different. I really like the pattern, so I will show you the pattern. Now you have to go with the pattern. I will go with simple L shape. Let's hit next and do it again. And now we have changed our screen lock. As you can see, it's incredibly useful, incredibly easy, and pretty important for setting up your phone to have a nice password that you can remember. But you don't really have to remember all the time, nor you have to input it every time if you go to Fingerprint Manager. We have to input our password, and now we can go through the process of setting up our fingerprint, which is incredibly useful and incredibly convenient. So we'll scroll down, we'll hit I agree, and now we'll go through the tutorial. We want to hold our device normally, and as you can see the power button is itself a sensor for our fingerprint. So we want to register our fingerprint by pressing it every time in slightly different locations, so it has the ability to nicely register every single part of your thumb. Now we have to register the outer edge of our fingerprint, so we can do that, and it actually shows us how we should do it. And boom, fingerprint is added. Let's go with done. Now you can rename the finger, but I'm not going to bother with that. And as you can see now, whenever we unlock our screen, we don't have to input the pattern, since we can just press our finger, and boom, we have a nice and fast access to our device, which is incredibly useful, and I would strongly advise to anyone who's setting up their phone to simply add their fingerprint. It's a completely safe way for having a nice unlocking method. Now something more about customization, since as you can see we have this basic layout, we have basic wallpaper, we could change that, right? And we can easily do that. We can press and hold our finger into home screen and go to wallpaper and style. And now we can customize whatever we want. As you can see, we have two sections here, one for the lock screen and one for the home screen. We'll start with the home screen. Let's change the theme to something more green, since I like green. And let's go with change wallpaper. As you can see, on-device wallpapers have pretty nice things to choose from. And if we go back, we can also go with live wallpapers. These are this basic animation that plays every time you unlock your phone, and you can choose between black, green or purple. To be honest, I'm not really interested into that, since live wallpapers tend to waste battery quite a lot, so let's go with on-device wallpapers, and let's choose something fancy. For example, well, I'm not going to go with pure black, of course, but these green leaves are, yeah, I pretty like the vibe, and I also like the green color. Now if you pay attention, you will see that we can also set it as the lock screen, and this is how it will look on the lock screen. And as you can see, we can also tap to edit how it will look. We can move it around, we can scroll or unscroll, so this is how it looks. I will hit the check mark. I will also set wallpaper. Here we have the ability to choose whether or not we want to set as both lock screen and home screen, or only one. Or neither, since that would be pretty funny. I will choose both. Let's hit set, and as you can see, our wallpaper is now changed. But this is not the only way we can customize our phone. We can always just press and hold our device. But we don't want to do that on the home screen. We can press and hold it on certain applications in order to move them around, just like that. We can do the same for the widgets. We can move it up, but I think down is a pretty nice way. So I will remove the game enhancer now. So let me move it around, and I will hit remove. Note that this will not uninstall game enhancer, it will only remove it from the home screen. So now I will make a little tidying up here. And here we have random things. So we can actually, without like tidying up the home screen, we can now go to the other part of the tutorial and we can remove useless bloatware that we won't even use. You could see that we already have LinkedIn installed or Facebook installed, and I didn't really install those, they installed them themselves. This is called bloatware. It's a software that's already pre-installed on your device, and normally you don't really want that, since it wastes your storage, it wastes your battery, it wastes a lot of stuff, and most importantly, it wastes your time. So we can go into our settings. Oh, this is ChatGPT. We can go to our settings, which I kinda lost now. Okay, here are settings. Now we can go to apps. We can go to all apps, and now we have a nice list of every single application on our device. And here, we just want to simply find applications that are useless for us. So for example, I am not a Facebook user, so I will go with Facebook. And as you can see, we can't even uninstall it. That's unfortunate. All we can do is simply disable it, so it won't really run in the background. Let's disable the app. And that's all we can do, unfortunately. We can always scroll down. We also have Gboard, all other stuff, LinkedIn. It's also pretty unfortunate that we cannot really uninstall it. I don't really understand, but disabling it is also good, since it won't really waste that much space on your memory. And of course, we can go through the process of everything else. Most of the applications are actually uninstallable, you don't have to force stop them or something like that, but the ones that are pre-installed unfortunately aren't. And lastly, we can optimize our battery settings. We can go through our settings to the battery, and in the battery mode, I believe. No, never mind. In the adaptive battery, we have the ability to use adaptive battery. I would advise you to keep that checked on, so it will save you more battery. That's pretty nice feature. You can always go back and, for example, you can go with processing optimization. This is also a kind of similar feature. You don't really have to know the basics, all you want to know is the fact that it does save you a battery. So there's nothing stopping you from enabling it. And as you can see, it is enabled by default anyway. We also have the battery care. This is pretty interesting thing that only works when you are charging your battery. So as you can see now, it's in the auto mode, but we can always go and change it. So for example, we can change it from auto to always, so we will never go to, for example, 80% more our battery, like our battery will have a cap of 80%, but I do think that we can change it from 19 to 80 or vice versa. So yeah, and also we have nice little battery tips. If we click on those, I'm not going to read all of those, since you can just pause the video and read it yourself, and the video is already pretty long, so you know. But yeah, I think this is a nice spot to end the video. If you found it interesting and helpful, make sure to like and subscribe. And also, if you have some other first things tricks or other things, you can always share them down in the comments below. Anyway, that's all from me. Thanks for watching.